It is estimated that within every 10 minutes, there are 5 million gigabytes of data created all around the world, such a huge number. Despite not directly creating that huge amount of data, any company still faces challenges on how to store and manage the data concerning their business, including customer information, means of communication, financial data, or other professional applications. Does your company maximize the value of the data? Does your company harness greater business value from this information? This will be the topic of Sharing Vietnam today with Mr. Kian, Microsoft Asia Pacific.
Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC 10 NetViet. Since the establishment of each company, they have to collect for themselves the data on business and also customer. But how could they utilize those kind of information and data for making best decision in doing business? And how can the government can use ICT products so that they can govern the countries in the best way? That will be the topic of Sharing Vietnam today with Kian, APCA Regional Sales Lead, Microsoft Application Platform, Microsoft Asia Pacific. First of all, thank you so much for joining us and welcome back to the country of Vietnam.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me to the interview.
As far as I know, it's not your first time in Vietnam, so maybe share with us on your experience with the country of Vietnam so far.
As I start to see the Asia Pacific and start to engage with both the citizens or even our colleagues, the businesses and the government, a few trends or best practices comes up, right? Number one is government who embrace technology would ultimately have a better way to transform the city. Meaning like removing certain challenges like traffic jams. Data and event driven could be the key to solve traffic jam problem, example, right? So government who are able to leverage on technology as one of the enablers to solve them can make a city operation better, example, and they can make business much more efficient.
What is Microsoft announcing today?
So generally Microsoft is announcing 4 things today. The first of which is actually our data dividend, whereby customers have accumulate a lot of data and they would like to find ways to leverage on the data to unlock insight and to apply it for business impact. So that's the first announcement. The second one is an event that we are having here to showcase the launch of SQL Server 2014. So SQL Server 2014 is one of the most pervasive database and big data and a business analytics platform in the market today. The third we are actually announcing today is a limited preview of Microsoft Azure Intelligent System Services. It's basically a technology that allows the Internet of Things to be real. So example, when you have a lot of devices and sensors and they need to start to collect data and transmit them into the connected network. And finally, we announced the general availability of what we call the Microsoft Analytics Platform Systems.
Microsoft Vietnam today announced the launch of new data platform solutions, which includes SQL Server 2014, Microsoft Azure Intelligent System Service (ISS), which enables Internet of Things and Analytic Platform System (APS), a low-cost big data in a box appliance. These new data platform solutions enable Microsoft to deliver the most comprehensive data platform to organizations looking to harness greater business value from their information today. Microsoft also shared the results of new IDC research showing that companies that take a comprehensive approach to data stand to realize an additional 60% return on the data assets, an Asia Pacific opportunity of $278 billion.
Always on technology to achieve uptime of nearly 100%.
May you share with us about some of the key achievements that the customer, the Vietnamese business, and also the government can achieve when they apply SQL Server 2014 and other products of Microsoft?
I think the most important impact to both the government and the enterprise in Vietnam is that as the businesses and government start to collect a lot of the data from the system of record. So example, every transaction that the business have and every sensor or any data that the government collected. The question is, how can we quickly unlock the insights from this data? So this data contain very, very rich insights, right? So one of the example I will give is example in Microsoft. A financial controller can quickly take this data and then turn the data into an insight to say, if everybody starts to book their travel 3 weeks in advance, as opposed to the last week when they need to travel, they can save a cost of, example, 2x, 2 times by having that policy. So by having that analysis based on just the behavior and the cost, it helps the company repurpose the money and allow us to let the money work harder for the company by having seller 2 travel as opposed to one travel for that kind of policy change. So similarly for government, the data that we capture, how can we use that data that we capture to help formulate policies, help to decide how do we improve the public transportation services to help our citizens to have better work-life balance, to enjoy the public services better, and to have a way that we can help the government transform the city, communicate in a two-way, and then allows everybody to have a better life in the city. Right? So that's example, one of the key areas I think would be most beneficial.
I have a question concerning financial issues. Most of the Vietnamese enterprises are small and medium size, so how can they have a best and smart choice to invest in ICT product?
I think the opportunity for small and medium enterprises is that there's really no need to have legacy investment. Our technology innovation allows a customer, an enterprise, to leverage on, example, cloud as a new platform. So what it means that they can now start to capture transaction in the cloud. And from that transaction, the data, they can now repurpose it into data model again in the cloud. And then at the end of the day, they can do business analytics in the cloud. So an example, one of the innovation we have as part of this SQL 2014 is this thing called Power BI for Office 365. So without even owning any infrastructure, they are now able to take those data transaction in the cloud and quickly use natural language. And in this case, example, they can use English to ask questions like, what is the trends for my business? This is the opportunity for SME or small medium enterprise because our technology do not require to have heavy investment on-premise or legacy technology. I give a good example. Budget airline is one of those group of customer that's really capitalizing on our technology to outperform traditional main airlines, because the main airline, they may have invested in a lot of ICT in their data center, but some of their technology are today considered expensive, complex, and also hard for the business to generate new business insight or generate new system innovation quickly. Whereas budget airline, they came in, they basically moved into cloud on day one, and they're operating at a fraction of the cost of the traditional airline and much more agile. Like they are now able to offer promotion, one-day promotion, say of $10 US dollar to fly to a few destinations.
What do the Vietnamese enterprises have to be taken care of when they would like to apply those type of new product from Microsoft?
I think there's a few things. Number one, I think the business has to think business first. Number two, they must be able to be agnostic to leverage on different paradigm of technology platform. They must embrace them. They must read. They must open their eyes and must be ready to explore these innovations, right? And that's the second one. So a good example would be like if you are a company that rents out videotapes, knowing that the technology has changed and now people are now watching digital content from different set-up box or from the internet, you need to quickly change your business and leverage on example media services in the cloud to stream content rather than set up many branches or shops to rent videotapes. So that is example and an opportunity for either a newcomer or for existing enterprise to need to be mindful that technology can embrace using example cloud media services to help them to rent movies instead of heavily investing in branches of physical brick and mortar shops and still renting out videotapes. So as I was telling you this story, you will see thousands and thousands of traditional businesses that becoming obsolete or irrelevant as a result of this transformation in the technology, and as the young people now have access to internet as a new channels to access their transaction from internet banking to now entertainment and even education.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us on Sharing Vietnam.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's all we have for today. We hope that within 15 minutes we have informed you with new and update products and services provided by Microsoft, helping Vietnamese governments and Vietnamese business to have best performance in the future. Once again, thank you so much for watching us. If you have any question or recommendation, please send an email to sharingvietnam@vtc.vn. Leave you for today and see you next time.